So it's
Hello.
Good morning.
Morning.
You're in good shape. You're here early. You've still got about 15 minutes.
Okay. Can I practice sharing my screen real quick?
Yeah, for sure. Is it working?
It's just asking me to go into settings and allow it to share my screen, I guess.
It should have a share screen down at the bottom.
Okay, when I click that, it says desktop 1. Okay, I might just need to play with it for a second.
Okay. Morning, Catherine.
Good morning.
Where are you? Are you at home?
My basement, yeah.
Oh, that's neat looking.
Thank you.
All things beachy looks like.
It's Notre Dame more than anything.
Ah,
Yeah.
is that where you went?
No,
Oh.
it's the university.
Oh, gotcha.
My dad's a big Notre Dame fan.
A lot of people are. Well, I like to think I'm pretty techie, but this has put me to shame. Somebody is having to open them up for me. But it seems to be working pretty well. You might want to try sharing your screen and seeing if it will pull up your PowerPoint or whatever you've got. Yep. Got that? Oh, thank you. That worked. Okay. Sarah, did you ever have any luck?
No, it's like whenever I click, it says open system preferences, and then it says allow the app below to record the contents of your screen even while using other apps. And then it says Zoom US, but it's like gray over it and it won't let me click on it.
My goals were during the school year, I plan to push the third graders to become better writers and to build their understanding on how to form a correct sentence, to understand the subject and the verb, and then eventually add more detail. I hope the students show growth, become proficient writers, and build understanding of the different components of a sentence. The cause of need, of course, the COVID pandemic. They haven't been in school full time, and the school I'm at, they had limited instruction time. And then last year they only went half of the school day to do it in sessions. Another thing is they haven't really had a writing curriculum at the school in a couple of years. So they're trying to build on that and define a consistent curriculum that will build throughout from kindergarten to actually 6th grade. So here's a little bit about what I did. I had, when I came in at the beginning of the school year, I noticed that no sentences were formed. They had just been, they would just write like words down and say it was a sentence. And then they would explain it to me, of course, and what they thought was a sentence, but what they would put down on paper was clearly not a complete sentence. So I did all kinds of little journal prompts. We started the year up here with their long-term goals, and if you see this student, you'll see it more. I have a closer picture in the next slide. That they just like wrote down, just like in reading all the Dogman books. She could tell me that all she wanted to write was about the Dogman book, like read all about the Dogman books, but she couldn't put that in a sentence on the paper. And then throughout the year, we had like a thankfulness journal, and then we went to a December writing journal, and then a winter one, and then we went into actually in March, or when we came back from winter break, we went online, and we didn't go online, like, but they did typing online instead of writing, to build that skill in typing as well. And then we went back in the spring to back to handwriting in their journals. So if we look at their work samples, this student I was explaining over here about her long-term goals. So in like I would say to them, write in a complete sentence, write the best sentence you can. And here she could only really write limited sentence. And I know that when we, as a student, when writing, you have to multitask sort of. You have to take what you're thinking and then put it into words of your own to write it down. And that's a little tough when you're in third grade, and especially if you haven't had school in a while. So one thing that I wanted to point out here in August of 2021, when she came to school, like socially, what did she want to do? She could verbally tell me that she wanted to make new friends, but when she went to go write it, she got so frustrated. And I remember this day like it was yesterday, that when she was at the kidney table with me working on this, she had tears by the time she got to the social part, and like, because she just couldn't form the words and put it into a sentence on paper. And I eventually was like, we'll come back to this. And a few days later, I pulled her back, and she just got really frustrated again. And I said, all right, it's okay. You verbally could tell me what you want to learn long term by the end of the year. And I kept all of this work for her because I knew that she could show growth. So just that was a big, like, this girl can really grow in writing. And this is this was like about an average student in my class. And then moving into November, this is about where we started getting into restating a sentence and forming, being able to take what the question asked and restating it and then answering it. And the students were really having a tough time grasping this at first. And so in the whole November journal, it was all about restating what it's asking. It was like a teacher you're thankful for, a place you're thankful for, like something the kids would really know. They all know teachers, they all know a place, they all know a family member, or a song, even a song they were thankful for, and just putting why they like it. As you can see here, she wrote, I am thankful for is Miss Ball because she is nice. As we see, that is she, the verb agreement is not there still. This was something for her that was really tough, and for all of my students to grasp to get that verb subject agreement. And then also with this, we noticed that her spelling, nice. I also worked on that throughout the school year and within these journals, just knowing quick sight words and knowing that that's sound when it's after an I is a C, and all of those skills. And then when we get to April, this is after I've constantly put repetition on restating a sentence, subject verb agreement, and all of those different aspects of a sentence. When we look at in April, we actually just did this on Friday, yesterday. And this was actually right after, in April, we started doing like a paragraph, how to sequence a 2.6 paragraph, which is 2 examples and details, and then it comes up to 6 sentences. If we read this, it says, my Earth Day promise is to clean up the trash. I can clean up by picking trash up every day after school, I will throw it in my trash can. This is why. This is my Earth Day promise. This just shows that, like, from um, November when we were talking about restating, she was able to restate my Earth Day promise and then to answer that. And then also, like, that next sentence, she also restated, like, to clean up. She said, I can clean up by. Just like constantly restating that repetition with her. And with all of my students, really showed that they were grasping the idea of writing, getting the subject verb agreement. Um, Instead of using that word it or I can do it or I can pick it up by, they they just understood to put more detail into their writing just from restating and all of those processes I went through with them. Um, and
You
then
know, the thing that's really cool about that too is there's no doubt about how much better it is. A parent could see that just with looking at the
yes,
two examples. I mean,
yes,
the handwriting is unbelievably better at space. You know, it's just better in every way.
yes. I will say this is a student that came in and we actually do like content intervention, which is after school tutoring. And I worked with her one on one because I'm in charge of third grade for that at the school. And it's like 6 students. And just from that little like one-on-one time short period with her, that's when she really started to grasp a lot. Like she needed that small group instruction and writing just like everyone else did, but clearly from the COVID pandemic, this student had some serious gaps in writing. They weren't writing, they were doing all this, and they weren't getting that first and second grade fun instruction that you should be getting, where you're writing, you're getting that emphasis, you're making simple sentences. By third grade, you should have those detailed sentences. That was a long process for me this year, especially as a first year teacher. But you can clearly see that students do catch on, even with those gaps, that they do, that just that frustration on that August in the social aspect. To she wrote this in 15 minutes the other day, no questions asked, did it. She did have to look at my anchor chart on writing, like the paragraph, because she really wants to be able to write that 2.6 paragraph with no problem. So she's wanting to learn, and these students are wanting to write. And I'm seeing, I just, the growth from her. Like, I wish I would have a video of her on that day that she had to write this social goal. She was just so aggravated, and just now she's so happy and wants to write. And part of these journals were the kids don't like to write, and or like they don't have a reason for it. And I wanted to make them personal. So like, what is your goal? What do you want to do? Everything about these journals were about them. And something about a lot of these journals where there's pictures, and in that strategy, writing strategies books, I took something like, I have some students of some special ed students, and they like to draw a picture first and then they can explain what the picture it is. So then I scribe that for them, but they're telling me what to write and I'm writing exactly what they're saying. So giving them a reason to write, to explain, to tell me more about it, putting those in detail. So that was something that I really took away from this. And then for my family engagement part, these students would take them home every Friday and bring them home on Monday. It was a big, I had a lot of anxiety over this to begin with. I work at it's a Title I school. So the free and reduced lunch, just different home lives for these students. And you're not always going to get the responses that you should. So I came up with this idea that they could share at the dinner table, just right before bed. I do book bingo, and like reading your journal entries to a family member, an aunt, an uncle, even your dog, to get that family engagement, to see what they're working on in school. And I've gotten from actually, this parent has messaged me many times of the growth she's seeing within her son, and just it was a good way to have those conversations at home about what they're learning and to see all of the work that they're putting in at school. And that is it.
Thank you. I think it's really exciting that the parent could see it and cared enough to contact you. You know, you're getting to the right place when the parents can tell. That's exciting. And also, I think it's so important that you're building confidence in your kids, where now their expectations of what they can do are so much higher than they were when they started.
Thank you.
Did you have any parents contact you and say, I don't spell that well? Or I know that sometimes people have had parents say, I'm a little afraid to do this.
I have a few that I can't get in contact with, but I've had like interactions with them, like when they pick up their students. And there are times that they say they just don't have time at home and I think it is the fear of they just don't really have the education to read as well as some other
They're
ones.
worried.
So
Yeah.
there was one student that I paired up with a fourth grader, and they're really good friends. So in the hallway before they go into the classroom, they read to each other right before. So they get that it's not family, but it's friend engagement, and they're able to show their work to someone that means something to them.
Well, and that's the biggie, so that the kids whose parents don't participate don't just lose out.
Yes.
Thank you, Catherine. Sarah, you ready to go?
Yes, I sure am. Okay, can everyone see my screen okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so I am going to talk about using the EET tool, and that stands for the Expanded Expression Tool for primary writing. My name is Sarah Worth. I teach in Paducah, Kentucky, and I teach first grade. This is my 8th year teaching first grade. So what is the Expanded Expression Tool? The EE tool is a hands-on approach to defining, describing, and expanding writing. The tool provides a visual and hands-on approach. So like many others have said, we really struggled with writing last year in class. You know, we were completely virtual, and then on an AB schedule, and then sometimes we were just out of school. So there was just a lot of inconsistency. So at the end of last year, we decided that we really wanted to nail down a strong writing program and really work on improving the students' writing skills. So this tool, my students use this tool to help them expand their writing. At the beginning of the school year, we were struggling to elaborate or write more than one sentence. Teaching my students this EET song and showing them the tool has dramatically helped my writers. So I don't know if you can see, this is the EET tool, and it's mostly used for informational writing. So it has a little song that goes with it, and I'll kind of sing it. I'm not like a professional singer or anything, but it's green group, blue dew. What does it look like? What is it made of? Pink parts, white where? What else do I know? So this really just helped with students' idea development, because like if we ask them to write about a topic, they could maybe write one sentence. Like if you ask them to write about a lizard, they could say, I like lizards, lizards are green. And then that's just basically all they would write. So this tool really helped expand their writing. So each day I would just start out with like a topic. So for example, this is a simple picture of carrots. So the EET kit comes with cards that you can practice.
Sarah,
yes.
Are you on a different slide now?
No, I'm on the same one. Can you see?
Oh, good. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
I was holding it up in the video. Could you see it in the video of me? Or the hold on. Can you see me at all? Or you can only see my PowerPoint?
We can only see your PowerPoint.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So you may want to go
I'll
through
show
your
the tool at the
PowerPoint.
end. Can I stop
Yeah,
sharing
there
my
you go.
screen? Okay, I'll show the tool at the end. Oh, okay. So anyways, like we would show like a card, for example, and then we would start out by just talking about the card, what was on the card. So I would show the card of the carrot, and then we would say, what group does it belong to? Oh, it's a vegetable. So we could write a carrot is a vegetable. And then we would go to blue dew. What do you do with a carrot? Oh, you eat it. Who else eats carrots? Rabbits eat carrots. They grow in a garden, all those types of things. And then what does it look like? So then we could write about what the carrot looks like, and what is it made of? What are its parts? And so we could go through the parts of a carrot. And so this just really helped them like think about their ideas and elaborate on their writing so that they weren't just writing like one very simple sentence. So at the beginning of the year, this was an example of a journal entry. It says, I like snakes. They are cool. They have, oh, that was supposed to say poisonous venom. So that was a writing sample from one of my little boys. And so after using the tool, you know, for a month or so, or this is more towards the end of the year, so more than a month, he wrote about alligators. He said, I like alligators. Alligators are reptiles. They lay in the sun. Alligators are big and green. Alligators live in water and they are cold-blooded. So it just really helps them elaborate and think of more to write. My students, oh, I think we already said that. So this is the song and how you can go through it. Green, grape, blue, do. What does it look like? What is it made of? Pink parts, white, where? What else do you know? And the kids like can all sing the song. They love to sing it. The EET kit comes with a visual aid if you decided to buy this kit or whatever. And it has this like poster that is in my room so we can, you know, elaborate on our writing with that. It's just a helpful visual tool. I also incorporated writing journals in my classroom this year. So we had a monthly journal that students would write in every day, and they kept it in the back of their chair. I made sure to check their writing each day so they were held accountable and took it seriously. So every single day I would just quickly go around and check, like even if it was just like a check mark or a little sticker or whatever the case may be. I made sure that they knew I was reading it and that they needed to be accountable. Each 9 weeks we focused on a type of writing school-wide, and I tried to match that type of writing with the journal prompts for the month. So the first 9 weeks we focused on personal narratives. So during the months of August, September, and October, we had narrative writing in our journals. And so that helped us practice for our big piece that would go in our portfolios. Another tool that I incorporated in my classroom was writing folders. So each student had a green writing folder at their workstation or their desk, and students had a personal dictionary inside of their writing folder. So students, when they didn't know how to spell a word, they weren't allowed to come ask me. They first had to look in their dictionary and see if the word was in their dictionary, or ask a friend if they could find the word in their dictionary. And if they still couldn't find it and the word wasn't in their dictionary, then I would spell the word for them and they would write the word in the dictionary so they would have it next time. And it just helped with their independence and helped them with like not always asking me, how do you spell this? How do you spell, you know, this? That's one big stressful part of writing for me, like all the different kids not being independent with their writing and needing so much help. And there's only one me. So this really helped me. The second grade teachers actually told me that they used this. And so I think it's going to be really helpful that now my students know how to use it. So when they get to second grade, they're going to be prepared with this tool. And so inside this green folder, I also kept their monthly writing journal. So they would get this out, they would have their dictionary, and then they would have their writing journal as well. This is our school-wide writing plan. So I was on the writing committee. And so at the end of last year, we decided, you know, that we needed to establish a writing plan and really pick up the pace with our writing. So for the first quarter, we all worked, the whole school worked on personal narratives. And then to publish our writing, we have like a reader's theater stage in our library. So during that week, we had try to set it up like a coffee shop type thing. We gave the kids like little cookies and things like that. And then they took turns reading their writing, their personal narrative. And that was like an ouch story. So about a time they got hurt. the second quarter, we focus on informative writing. And so we wanted to connect it to our social studies and science curriculum. And that's when we really hit this EET tool hard. And we just shared that writing in our classrooms because that was a busy time with like all the Christmas winter activities going on. During the third quarter, we did persuasive and opinion writing. And so our writing piece that went in our portfolio was my favorite ice cream. And so we displayed those in our local ice cream shop where we displayed the students' writing there so their parents could go and look at their writing and read it with their students and have ice cream. And the fourth quarter is narrative, and we're still working on that. And so that they're just writing like a story. And so far, that's been the hardest type of writing for them, is just like making up a story. So we're really working on that and practicing in our journals. I also wanted to share this. This doesn't really have anything to do with writing, but this is also something that's really been helpful for my students. We call these smart stacks. So the students have a book bag that they take home every night, and they have reading logs inside of their book bag. So these are the Fontes and Pinnell reader like stories. And we have them broken up by levels. And so each student knows what instructional level they're on for reading. So each day they go and they check out like 3 or 4 books out of their level basket. And after they get them, after they've read them 3 times with a parent and their parent has signed off on their reading log and signed that they read those specific books, then I will check it and I'll let them go check out 3 more books. And so they keep doing that each day until they've read all the books in the basket. And then after that, I assess them and see if they're ready to move on to the next letter, or if they need to stay on the continue to practice on that current letter. So all the students are on different levels and they all know their level. And so they're able to check out books on their level. I mean, they also check out like accelerated reader books and things like that, but this has just really, I felt like, helped with their practice and their fluency and just giving them on level books to read with their parents. So each 9 weeks, we give students a cold read and monitor student accuracy, fluency, and rate. That's with the Fontes and Pinnell series. We record these numbers on the report card along with the level that they were tested on. And this has really helped to see their students' growth because at the beginning of the year, they might have been on an A, B, and read with like 70% accuracy. And by this point, they're almost at a level I, and they can, read at a better rate. And so they can see each 9 weeks where they were. We give STAR reading assessments as well, and reading interventionist progress monitor every 2 weeks. And this is my email if anyone has any questions, or you can obviously ask, at any time. But I wanted to stop sharing and show. We also use, before we write, we have like a brainstorming page, and we write words that we think might come up in our writing. So we discuss that and write them down. That kind of helps with many students asking how to spell words. And we always encourage them to use their sound spelling too. And then we've also been using 4 squares, and our whole school is focusing on this year as well. And so in the first square, they write about what's going to happen first, next, then, and then summarize last. And we've been starting like writing sentence stems for them to just get them started with their thinking. So like on this ice cream one, they said, I think, and then they said like vanilla, chocolate, or strawberry. Ice cream is best. I like best because, and then they have to fill that in. And then I think it is, and then they had to add 2 adjectives. And then at the end, the very best ice cream is, and then they write, what they said. But I feel like all this brainstorming and like mapping has really helped them organize their ideas and write more. And then we also are keeping binders of all the students' work. So each student has a binder, and all the writing throughout the year is in clear page protectors. I still have a lot more to add, but they're going to take this home at the end of the year so their parents can see like all of their writing and just see how they've grown. And then this gives them like somewhere safe to keep it. You know, they can look at it later on down the road. But I thought it was helpful because I feel like a lot of our papers that we send home just get thrown away or shoved in their backpack or stuffed in the back of their chair. So I was also going to show an example. I mean, our first grade journals look a little bit simpler than a third grade journal, obviously, but when we were working on the opinion pieces, we just found some of these type of things on Teacher Pay Teacher. And they just pick like, I like a ice cream better than cupcakes the best because, and then they said it is cold, but it gave like words at the bottom for them to add to their writing as well. But each day they had like a different choice or writing prompt. So I really think just writing every single day has really helped. And, you know, being in person and having someone there to help them and guide them, and just the consistency has really helped. And the kids love publishing their writing and sharing their writing and all those types of things. So that's about it.
I think that's what writing every day does for them, and they can see their own progress too. That's amazing. You have a lot of great ideas, both of you do. Does anybody have a question for either Catherine or Sarah?
This was a EET tool if anyone couldn't see it when I was presenting. Oh, it's upside down. So we just like, we say like green, group, blue, do, what does it look like? What is it made of? Pink parts, white, where, like where do you find it? And what else do I know? So they like to add like a fun fact or whatever for that orange bead. But it's a good visual tool and the kids like to sing the song.
Ms. Kate Graves wants to know, is there a good tool for writing that isn't nonfiction? And my personally, and if you all wanted to email me, I can send it. I've got a graphic organizer by a woman named Dixie Lee Spiegel that's really good for starting stories, because she has them take in the beginning. You get the time and the place, but then the problem and what the main character decides to do about it. And then it's set up where there are 3 attempts to solve the problem. And then finally it is solved, you know, with the end. So I'd be happy to mail that if anybody wants it. But just it's just smith.ly@nku.edu. I have found that I had good luck just going into visit classes, asking first graders to tell stories according to that. And I think once they get to second and third, they can definitely plan better stories. Where can you find EET to purchase?
I'll send the website in the chat box.
That would be great.
Find it.
I keep hearing over and over that writing is the biggest concern for the kids once they got back in school. So you all have some really good ideas to work on that. And it's obvious how much growth they've had. Thank you, Sarah. Everybody be sure and copy that so you don't lose it. Any other questions? All right, thanks a bunch for attending. I hope you all have a good rest of the day.
Thank you.
See you later.